Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final day of our Beyond Your Belief experience. And we've had a really nice time here going beyond our old beliefs, beyond our old stuck energy patterns in a different way each day. And today we're going to talk about like my favorite thing, my heart, going beyond our beliefs in our spiritual connection. So, it's been a year of feeling somewhat disconnected in a lot of ways, right? COVID created a place of disconnection from our loved ones, being disconnected from our workplace, disconnected from our sources of joy, of entertainment and exercise. And we've all had to kind of figure that out, and we're starting to come out of it now, thankfully. But hi, Susan. Hi, everybody. Stuart, Bessie. I think an even deeper and even more pervasive disconnection that people, especially in our Western society, but all over the world, really, an even more pervasive and deeper disconnection that we can feel is disconnection from the universe, from the divine energy, from source, from God. And this is a disconnection, a feeling of disconnection that really hurts and really makes us feel like, I don't know if I can even keep going. I don't even know why I'm here, kind of. One of the most common and surprising beliefs that I find in my clients, because I help people, one of the things I do is use theta healing to help people uncover their subconscious beliefs that are kind of running their lives, but they might not even know they're there. One of the most common ones is, I came to the wrong planet. A lot of people have this subconscious belief. I came to the wrong planet. And sometimes when I tell people, I think you have this subconscious belief, they're like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. But most of the time they're like, yes, I have always felt that way. I just don't get other humans, and I don't get the whole earth. And I just feel like this is not my true home. I actually had one client, I used to do this call-in radio show called News for the Soul. The network was called News for the Soul. It still exists, newsforthesoul.com. It's really cool if you guys want to check it out. Hi, Leanne. And I had a caller, I would do like mini sessions with just anybody who called in. And this one woman, we were working together, and I said, I kind of think you have this belief of, I came to the wrong planet. And she was like, ever since I was little, I thought that. When I was a little girl, she said, I used to go outside at night just before my bedtime and hold up my arms like this so that my real family, which I believed must be from another planet, could see me and come down and pick me up and rescue me from having to be in my family on the earth. So we were able to clear that belief system she had, because the truth is that we didn't come here by mistake. And, a lot of people with that belief system, I came here to the wrong planet by mistake, also have a corresponding belief, I came here as a punishment. So that's a very childlike belief. And, we store beliefs in ourselves. So you may know better as an adult. I didn't come here to Earth, I didn't land on the wrong planet somehow. And I certainly don't deserve to be punished in some horrible way. I didn't come here as a punishment. But that's what you might have concluded as a child. And that belief might still be in you. And that's what I want to talk to you about here today. I want to change this. I want you to know for sure that you are, because everyone is, unalterably connected to source, to the divine, whatever you want to call that. Our connection to God just is, no matter what. It doesn't depend on what we feel or even what happens to us. I remember when I was in my 40s, my dad died very suddenly. And it was such a shock, of course. to my whole family, and we were grieving. I was in the woods behind my house that I grew up in. It was right after his funeral, I believe, my dad's funeral. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to everybody out there. It's Father's Day today. I miss my dad. Thank you, Dad. And I was praying in the woods. I was looking up through the branches of the trees to the sky and saying, God, why? Why did this happen? How did this happen? He was such a good man. He was only 74. It was just so quick. We didn't get the chance to say goodbye. And I got this very strong sense of it doesn't matter. The world is just going to keep on going. My dad died, and the trees are just still here, just like they were last week. My dad died, and the sky is just as bright and blue as it was last week. And at first, that just made me cry and cry. Maybe you guys have had the same sensation. If somebody close to you dies and you're so shocked and everybody gathers around and they come to the funeral, but then afterwards, the world just keeps going on and you realize, oh, things are just going to keep going. And it's an awful feeling at first. You feel left behind, but eventually I came to realize it's actually okay. It's okay that the trees and the sky didn't change at all, even though my dad died, because that's just how God is. It just is. Our connection to God, I call it God sometimes. I know a lot of people don't use that word, and that's okay. Our connection to the universe, to all that is, does not depend on what happens or how we feel. There was another time, I think I was in my early 30s, and I had just, maybe late 20s, and I had just had a chronic pain condition diagnosed. So yesterday, when we were talking about beliefs about your body, I mentioned this, that I was in this pain that no doctors didn't understand and didn't even believe in throughout my 20s. I was finally diagnosed, and that's good in a way. You'd rather have a diagnosis and have people like believe that you have something, because then you can do something about it, right? Than not have a diagnosis. But it's still hard. I was scared. I was like, what? I have this weird thing. And I was told by the very kind doctor that diagnosed me that it was chronic and that I would never, ever be able to cure it or heal it, which didn't turn out to be true, by the way. But I believed it for a few days, after the diagnosis. And I remember looking out my window of my apartment in New York City and looking up at the 3 stars that you could see from New York. And I said to God, why? Why is this so hard? Why am I in pain? And it's not just me, it's millions of people. Why? Why can't we feel you more? Why can't we see you more? Why? And then I went to bed. And the next morning, just before I woke up, I had a very vivid dream. Has this ever happened to you? Not every time I ask a question of the universe do I get an answer in a dream, but sometimes, and it's something that you can try. It does work. And so just before I woke up that morning, I had this really vivid dream, and I heard in the dream a voice that was coming kind of from a being above me. It kind of felt like maybe an angel, and it was a male voice. And the voice said very clearly and very compassionately and kind of with great humor, this voice said, oh, you can't see God light in this spectrum. You can't see God light in this spectrum, which sounds kind of bad in a way, but I knew it was actually incredibly good, and it gave me such hope because of the implication of it. You can't see God light, but it is there. It's just not very visible in the spectrum where we can see, but it is there, which means that we can feel it, which means that we are always connected to source. no matter how we feel, no matter what happens. Some of us were taught that in order to be connected, we have to feel guilty or sacrifice ourselves. Some of us weren't taught anything at all spiritually. Our parents either were raised in a religion that they decided they didn't believe in, and they wanted like stuff to be, different for their kids, or our parents weren't raised in a religion either, and so, they just gave us a blank slate. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. You're unalterably connected to Source. When I was about 29, I left the church that I was brought up in and that I was very involved in all throughout my 20s. And I got a lot out of my upbringing and my experiences in my 20s in this church. It was cool. I got a lot of great stuff from it, but I no longer believed in all of the tenets that church held. And my body and my soul and everything in me was telling me that I had to leave. And so I did. And it was hard for me because I didn't leave that church to go to another church, although eventually I did find another church that was just right for me. But I felt like I was stepping out into outer space, but I left. And that's what mysticism is, you guys. It's stepping out into the unknown, but believing that you will somehow be supported, even though you're walking on the sky, And I stepped out into the unknown, and indeed I did find all kinds of truths, all kinds of beautiful mystical traditions and healing techniques. But at the time, I left everything I knew. And, I noticed years later that was when I started to get migraines. And so with the help of this theta healing thing that detects belief systems, I was able later to detect a belief system that went, I have to suffer to be close to God. And you may not have that one if you're not religious, but you very, very, very well might have this one, because most people do. I have to suffer to learn and grow. That kind of sucks, right? Aren't there other ways of learning? Don't you think God might have set things up so that we could be close to God without necessarily suffering? So I felt that there was a price to my leaving my religion at the time. But when I changed that belief, I found that there wasn't a price. Now, I just want to note here that you might be in a church or synagogue or mosque, and you might really love it. And I think that's beautiful. I am not talking about trying to convince anybody to leave their church. Like I said, I found the Quaker meeting, the Friends, and that was just right for me. This silence where you feel the divine within yourself and believe that there's divine within everyone. That's the Quakers. When I moved 2 years ago, I couldn't find a meeting near me, and I raised my kids in that tradition, by the way. But now I found another church. It's a United Methodist church, but it's just like so cool. So there's all kinds of cool stuff in all kinds of religions. But you get to be connected to the divine, whether you're in a religion or not. So let's talk about the word God, can we? The word God is based on the German root for good. Okay, so it kind of seems like then God is good, and maybe we might be bad. That's what I was taught. The word that Jesus usually used for God was Allah in Aramaic, which is what Jesus spoke. And it does not mean good. It means sacred unity or the oneness. Sacred unity or the oneness. Many cultures use their word for God is from the same root, al or el. The Jewish language, the Hebrew, and the Jewish authors in the Bible often used this root El, like El Shaddai, and Elohim. They also used Yahweh a lot. The Muslim word for God is, of course, Allah. All of these go back to that root, A-L, Allah, the oneness. So that's a lot different to me. It's not like God is good and you're bad. In the Aramaic worldview of 2,000 years ago, when Jesus was living and teaching, there wasn't this big separation that we have now in our Western culture of heaven and earth, or mind and body and spirit being all separate. That separation did not exist in their culture or in their language. So it's kind of been a little tricky when we interpret things from the Aramaic that Jesus spoke to, I think it was to Greek, to German, to English. In fact, the word heaven, the interpretation, one interpretation, and there's a lot, right? One interpretation is the light and sound shining through all creation. I love this so much that that's what Jesus said, possibly. That's what he meant. One interpretation of heaven is the light and sound shining through all creation. That means that heaven can be found in your child's joyful face when they're swinging on a swing. Heaven could be found in your mom's eyes as she's sitting in an armchair and watching her favorite TV show. Heaven can be found in you jogging and having that feeling of sweating and really like good motion of your body. Heaven. While we're at it, the word for perfection that's been interpreted as perfection is the meaning of it from what Jesus was saying. One interpretation is whole, finished, complete. So it's not about never making a mistake. It's about being whole, being finished. It's kind of more like, I'm not done yet. There's actually a phrase that Christians use sometimes, God isn't finished with me yet. That's perfection. Yes. I'm getting all of this, by the way, from an author that I love. His name is Neil Douglas Klotz, and he's an Aramaic scholar, and he has published a lot of books, one of which is Prayers of the Cosmos. And that's where I'm getting these definitions from. This little, but it's a very little book. It's made a big difference in my life. He also has a website if you're interested. It's avwoon.org, ABWOON.org. And this, strangely, is not on the resources section of my website. A lot of times I mention a book and I say, go to beyondyourbelief.com, because you can find it there. You can actually order it through there, and it goes through, not through Amazon, but through Bookshop, which supports your local bookstore. You can put in your local bookstore, and if you don't have a local bookstore, you can just put in the book that you want, and it supports local bookstores in general. Anyway, we are going to get that onto the resources page of my website, but you can just go if you're interested in these, this kind of new meaning of what a lot of us have been studying our whole lives. It's like just a new aspect of it, and I find it so beautiful. In a little bit, we're going to do a meditation that is based on that Aramaic word for God, for the oneness. It's kind of like a sound healing, and it's really cool, you guys. So stay tuned for a few more minutes. So there's another really amazing concept that has made a difference in my life, like a huge qualitative difference. And that is this concept of a divine signature in every cell of our being. It's like God's autograph. So there is a scientist named Greg Braden He wrote a book called The God Code. He's written a lot of books now. This one's from about 20 years ago. Maybe you've heard of it. This is on the resources section of beyondyourbelief.com, so you can find it there. And Greg Braden has a lot of stuff online that you can explore. In this particular book, The God Code, he found that there is a bridge between the numeric values of the 4 elements that our human bodies are mainly comprised of. So that's oxygen, nitrogen, I got to look at my cheat sheet, carbon, and hydrogen. So those 4 elements, their numerical values, like the periodic table, right, correspond to the letters of the Hebrew and Arabic alphabet. And he figured all of this out with his incredible scientific mind. And in every cell of our bodies, what these letters spell out is, spoiler alert, this is at the end of the book, God eternal within the body. In every cell of our bodies is the signature of the divine. God eternal outside of us? No. God eternal within the body. The flesh, as the Bible often refers to it. If you think this is like a pretty far reach, the odds of that happening just randomly are 1 in 200,000. So I think it's a reach to say that there isn't meaning in that. So you guys ready for some common beliefs that might stop you from feeling your connection to the divine? All right, we've already said one of them, actually 2. I've come to the wrong planet and I came here as a punishment. No. We've mentioned this one too. I have to suffer to be close to God. And we mentioned this also. I have to suffer to learn or grow. This is a pretty big concept in our society. No pain, no gain, right? No pain, no gain. Just do it. When you think about it, it doesn't even logically make sense. I bet you've had a teacher or professor or coach that was really incredible and you loved them and you learned a lot from them. And I bet you've had a teacher or professor or coach that was really mean and you hated them and you learned a lot from them. But who did you really learn more from? Who did you learn from and you didn't even realize that learning was going on? It was just a flowing opening and change in your thoughts. You learned more through the one that you loved, the teacher that you loved. So that's how we can learn in real life too. You know, we could learn a technique that helps us to change our beliefs. We could just meditate in whatever form we like for 10 minutes a day. That doesn't hurt, but it would really change us. You know, we'd grow through that. We could read a book, you know, it doesn't have to be suffering. And then there's another belief. I have to sacrifice myself to achieve my soul's purpose. We're pretty big on that in our culture too. Now I'll work harder. No, even more. I'll work 60 hours a week. I'll be really super busy all the time. Oh, did my kids grow up? You know, we don't have to sacrifice ourselves to achieve our soul's purpose. And then the last belief I'll talk about, the earth is an awful place where real love is absent. You know, just the way that the divine is in every one of your cells, the divine is in every one of every human, animal, and plant cells around you, every molecule of air. The divine is everywhere. And if you ask, you will feel it too. Do you want some downloads? All right. So, would you like to know that it is safe and possible, what it feels like and how, and that you deserve to and already are? And now I'm going to list a bunch of things, and just like you can download your computer with programs, you can download yourself. You can accept these downloads from the universe. You just have to say yes, whether you're here live with us now or watching the recording later. So, would you like to know what it feels like to feel your connection to the divine source, no matter what? Would you like to know that it's safe and possible, what it feels like and how, and that you deserve to be human and live on earth and feel your connection to the other planes of existence and to the divine, to source, to the universe at the same time? Would you like to know what it feels like and how and all those other things to have hope and joy while living here on the earth? You don't have to wait till after you die. Would you like to know what it feels like and how to receive God's love and unconditional acceptance? And to be close to the divine and achieve your soul's purpose without suffering or sacrificing yourself. I just want to say that sometimes suffering does happen. We're just downloading you with that it doesn't have to happen in order for you to feel close to God or to achieve your soul's purpose, okay? Your life purpose. And would you like to know what it feels like and how it is safe and possible that you deserve to maintain a high vibration and not feel like low and heavy, but feel high? And this is different things to different people. I talk about meditation a lot. It could be dancing. It could be listening to music. It could be running. It's not what it is for me, but some people love running, you know? You can find your thing. Just make sure you do it. It could be spending time or working with children. Ugh, I love that. All right. And would you like to know that it's possible, safe, what it feels like, and how you deserve to find your soul family here on earth? There is not just one of you. I don't care how weird you are. Your tribe is here, and you can find them, especially with the internet now. It's a lot easier for us, like unusual people, to find each other, okay? If you want to be part of my community, beyondyourbelief.com, come on in. We're on Facebook. There's a Beyond Your Belief community page. And of course, you can go to beyondyourbelief.com, get that transformation toolkit. I don't think I've shown it. This is it, by the way. It's on paper. It's also online. You get all kinds of little mini videos that will help you, do like the Eden energy medicine I'm always talking about and all kinds of stuff. So let me just ask the universe to give you guys those downloads now. Good. Okay. To you guys, nice. Jill's got goosebumps. And Leanne wants to understand vibrations better. So, vibrations, all our cells are vibrating all the time. Each cell, each group of cells that we call our organs, us as each individual human, our family has a vibration, our community has a vibration, our country has a vibration, our world has a vibration. We're working on that, And so sound is a vibration. My voice is vibrating at a certain level. That's my voice, and your voice too, of course, vibrates at your level. Color is a vibration. Some colors have a slower vibration than others. So when I talk about vibration, that I'm talking about all of existence. And when I talk about maintaining a high vibration, this is something, honestly, you guys, I have trouble with it. I have friends who are, I don't want to say trouble, I have a challenge with it. I have friends who are, they're just light. They're just happy. I wish I could be them. I'm honestly terribly jealous of them. That is just not my, what is that called? Status quo, default setting. That is not my default setting, happy and light. It's just not. I wish it were. So I have to work it a little bit, and that's okay. So that's why I start each day with a daily energy routine. Sometimes I go out and I'm doing it in my backyard under the sun. And sometimes I'm in a real hurry and I do it in the 5 minutes that I'm taking a shower, but I do it because it helps me to raise my vibration. It's been proven. Who is that guy that does the studies about water? Jill, who is that guy? I believe he's Japanese, and he has studied water and found that, yeah. So Susan said, when we lived in San Diego, as soon as we crossed the border in Tijuana, the vibration changed profoundly. Oh yeah, you can feel a different vibration if you're sensitive to it in different places, definitely. Emoto, was that his name, Dr. Emoto? The water guy, somebody... that might be it. Are you sure? I think that might be it. So he did studies on, he's a scientist, and he did these studies on water, and people just spoke different words to water, and they took these, I don't know, infrared pictures or something of it before and after. And so before somebody said the word hate to water, the water looks regular, right? And then they said the word hate. And I think they also taped it to the outside of a jar, the poor hate water. And that water, you can Google it, and it changed its molecular structure, and it looks, I don't know if it changes molecular structure. That would mean it turns into another substance, but it changed the way it was expressing its molecular structure, shall we say. And you can see the difference. And it looks like, and then they said love, and take the word love to other jars of water, and it looks like symmetrical and beautiful, and they said it in different languages, and it had different shapes in different languages. That's what I mean by vibration. It's just science, really. We all have vibrations, and we can do things that lower our vibration, like gossip and read crap and watch crap and eat crap, or we can do things that make our vibration higher. And so that's the stuff that I'm giving you guys all the time. It's stuff that'll make your vibration higher. You're vibrating anyway. You might as well get a little bit higher. So right now we're going to do a couple of Eden energy exercises super quick, because I've shown them to you in our days before. And then I'm going to do a little meditation using this word avun, and I will tell you what that means in just a second. All right, so the first Eden Energy Medicine thing, and this is from Donna Eden, and you can go to edenenergymedicine.com, I believe it is, and you can go to my website too. It's called Heaven Rushing In, and it's basically you just put your arms up like this and put your head back like this, and it would be super cool if you could go outside and do this, but if you can't, you can do it inside. And you feel the energy coming in your fingertips from the universe, down your arms, all the way into your heart chakra. And you have to breathe. So breathe as deeply as you can. And you really, I'm rushing you through it a little bit right now, but you really can feel it. And you can end it like this, feeling that energy. And then I'm going to show you connecting heaven and earth, which is my favorite Eden energy exercise. And it is just like this. You slap your thighs, get the energy going, go to prayer pose, take a nice deep breath, and then put one arm all the way up like this, one arm all the way down like this, and put your head back like this, so you look like a Greek goddess. And you just breathe in really nice and deep. And then as you breathe out, pull a ball of energy from the heavens and a ball of energy from the earth and put it into your heart chakra like that. And then you go the other way. And you see, I can't quite raise my left arm up all the way because I have that frozen shoulder thing going on. It's getting so much better. So if you have some kind of thing where you can't do this quite perfect, you do it your way. You do it the best you can. Easy peasy. And then you bring those balls of energy back into your heart chakra. I love that one, and it does open up your energy, and it releases. A lot of us are taking in a lot of energy from the people and the stuff happening around us. You want to release that and open yourself up to like the cosmos energy. All right, so I also recommend, I haven't talked about this, this is another vibration thing. It's a really beautiful and easy way to raise your vibration, to feel your connection to the divine, and to just feel better and happier. Have you ever heard of a sound bath? You go, and you can do this online. You go or turn on your computer, and some incredible sound bath practitioner, they have these different size bowls. I actually have a little one right here. And they have all different ones. They have huge ones, and they have all these different kinds of sound instruments that make these, like, some really whoa, deep sounds like that, and some like high tinkling sounds. So it's, one sound is like this. And so the cells in our bodies, I feel bad talking over the ringing of the sound bowl, sorry. The cells in our bodies vibrate, and they will start to vibrate at the same resonance, the same rate as what you are hearing. Okay, especially if you're in person, it's way cool. But it even works online. I didn't think it would, and I tried it with Ali Leapseed, and it does work. So you Google sound bath where you are, or sound healing, and it is really, really a nice, easy way. All right, you ready for our meditation? So the word avun, spelled Abwoon, and I'm pronouncing it as well as I can. I think that's right. And again, there's a lot of different interpretations. One interpretation from Aramaic, and this was, by the way, the first word of the Lord's Prayer. So, our Father who art in heaven, for those of us who grew up in the church and are really, really used to saying it in that way. That's how it's been interpreted, our Father who art in heaven. So this is the first word of it. And when Jesus said it, as far as we can tell, he said avun. And that word avun means the birthing or flow of the divine echoing through all things, including our own bodies. I'm going to say it one more time. You don't have to remember all this. I'm just letting you know, and then we're going to kind of chant it. The birthing or flow of the divine that echoes through all things, including our bodies. Okay? So it's avun. It kind of sounds like A-V-O-O-N. Okay? Or you can say abun if you want to. Whatever you say, that's going to work. All right, so I'm going to lead you through this. I want you to close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in. And I want you to kind of focus on your heart chakra. This is, of course, where your heart is. It's also where your lungs are. And I want you to just listen, and if you can, repeat this word with me, okay? As we continue to repeat that, we're focusing in on our heart chakra, and we're allowing the energy of that word, of the vibration of it, move down our bodies, down our legs, down our feet, down into the earth. And then we're going to allow the energy and the vibration of that word to move up from our heart chakras, through our throats, our heads, up, 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 flowing along a channel of light that is already there, that we're moving up, 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 all the way up through the sky, out of our universe, feeling our connection with Source. You can play with different tones, different pitches, different volumes. You can see how it makes you feel in different parts of your body. Sometimes it makes me cry. Other times I don't feel that much at all. Sometimes it makes me joyful. However you feel, that's the right way to feel. You can accept it. Ah. Whenever you're ready, just open your eyes. Here you are, completely connected to Source, just like you always have been and maybe didn't know it. So there is more stuff like this at beyondyourbelief.com. I thank you guys so much, every one of you who have joined me here through this Beyond Your Belief experience. This was the launch of this new website, this dream, this idea that I'm putting out into the universe. And I hope that you continue to stay connected with me. You can have a session with me. You can invite me to your workplace, your church or synagogue or mosque, your after-school program or your school. You can just stay connected here online. I've got lots of stuff for everybody. Mo, hi. Cynthia, hi. I ask you if you would like to share this with as many people as you want. This has been, for me, such a joy. So thank you, guys. Hope to see you soon. Another Too Much Tuesday, Sandra, Jill. Another Too Much Tuesday. On Tuesday at 12:30, we're going to be talking about boundaries. Okay, you guys. Bye.